From Stapleton to Stuytown, from Soundview to Sunnyside, and right here on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn, it's 5 p.m. in the five boroughs. That means it's time for Max and Murphy, your interview and call-in show about the policies, politics, and people of New York City and New York State. From citylimits.org, I'm Jarrett Murphy.
From Gotham Gazette, this is Ben Max. Jarrett, good to see you after a couple weeks of missing each other and holding down the fort individually.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
Yes,
it
yes.
Really does.
Did you have a good time off?
I did. It was wonderful. You as well, I hope.
Good, yeah, same, absolutely. So we are talking basically 2 weeks before primary day. Everyone out there, if you are basically registered in the Democratic Party, that's where the real primaries are, though the Reform Party is having this sort of open AG primary for Attorney General. But the Democratic primary party is really where the primaries are at. Thursday, September 13th, 2 weeks from tomorrow. Get ready to vote.
And we are on this side of the Labor Day date, which traditionally opens the very last stage of campaigning. But this week is very busy because we have debates coming out of our ears. We had the Attorney General debate, second one last night. You moderated a debate among the Lieutenant Governor candidates on the Democratic side this morning, which will air later. And as we speak, the Democratic candidates for governor, Cynthia Nixon and Governor Andrew Cuomo, are taping a debate to air later tonight. So if you like debates,
yes,
this is the week for you.
It's a great week. I moderated an Attorney General Democratic primary debate last week. You can find that on YouTube at the Manhattan Neighborhood Network site. This morning, I moderated the Lieutenant Governor debate. That'll be posted tomorrow. So there's lots out there tonight. This gubernatorial debate will be on CBS 2 and streaming between Governor Cuomo and Cynthia Nixon. And really, I mean, that's going to be fascinating to watch. Governor Cuomo 4 years ago did not agree to debate his primary challenger, Zephyr Teachout, who's now running for Attorney General. And this year he has agreed to debate Cynthia Nixon. I'm not really sure what changed the calculus there, but it makes for really interesting politics, really interesting drama, and a chance for many voters who are not like ourselves or maybe the dedicated listeners to this program and our podcast to get a sense of the candidates.
That's right. Apparently, this is the first time he has debated one-on-one with a primary opponent since 2002. His ultimately aborted race for governor in 2006. He had a crowded field. Other times he's been on the stage with others, or as you said, not debated. So that is a fascinating matchup. Without spoiling anything, you moderated this debate among, which is also a very interesting race, this race for the number 2 slot. Not normally a contested thing, but this year, because Jumaane Williams is challenging Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, it's become a very interesting contest, very contentious. Can you tell us anything about what came out of this morning?
Absolutely. So there's already articles posting, it was open to reporters to tweet about, write about, but it won't officially air until tomorrow and be up online. But they have very, very different views on what the position of lieutenant governor should look like. Kathy Hochul expressed her view, which is more in line with what the state constitution says, that it's a partner with the governor, takes direction from the governor, presides over the state senate, which can often just be a ceremonial duty, although could have some power if there's a deadlock. But Jumaane Williams wants to reinvent the position. He says it should be more like the New York City public advocate, calling out the governor, being a check. That's not exactly really how it's designed. And a telling factor in that, which I pressed him on at the debate, is the fact that while the parties nominate their lieutenant governor and governor candidates separately in the primaries, they run as a ticket in the general election. So these are not really separately elected officials. So they got into a bunch of topics. They, had some criticism for each other. We covered a lot in just over 30 minutes. So, I definitely urge people to check that out.
That's a really interesting storyline, just because the idea of a check on the governor was obviously a major theme in last night's Attorney General debate, and to what extent that office is that, and to what extent each of the 4 Democratic candidates are capable of being that, given that the leading candidate in terms of endorsements, Letitia James, is allied with the governor and has received his endorsement and his help fundraising. That was a fascinating debate. I think it was exactly what one wants out of debate. If folks haven't seen it, they should go take a look at it. Really, you got a sense of the difference in their qualifications, which are all very impressive. Slightly different emphasis in terms of how they direct the authorities of the office, but a really clear sense of difference in temperament, in how they approach discussing each other, discussing their qualifications, their attitude towards the act of governing. A very important consideration when you're talking about an office that does have the power to investigate, subpoena, and even prosecute.